Hello guys. Today we're going to talk about reflections on the coordinate plane. So a reflection is a transformation that creates a mirror image of the point or shape. So just a review here, to reflect across the x-axis, we would multiply y by -1. If we're going to reflect across the y-axis, we would multiply our x-coordinate by -1. So what does that look like when we do that? Well, let's look at our coordinate plane here. Now we have point A here, which is at -1, 3. So if we're going to reflect it across the x-axis, which is highlighted here in the pink, all right, our x-coordinate stays the same, so -1, -1. But we take our y-coordinate 3 and we multiply it by -1. So 3 times -1 would give us -3. So A prime reflected across x now would be -1, -3. So when we go ahead and graph A prime, here we are, -1, -3. So A1 is the reflection of A across x. B is located at 4, -2. Now, if we were to reflect B across the y-axis, the x stays the same. That would still be 4. But we take our x coordinate, we would multiply by -1. So we would do 4 times -1, and that would be -4. And then our -2 stays the same. So when we're reflecting across y, we multiply x by -1. So our original B was at 4, -2. So the reflection across y would be here over at -4, -2. All right, let's go ahead and try some reflections on the coordinate plane ourselves, okay? So here we have triangle ABC, and A is at -2, +1. So if we're going to reflect across the x-axis, that means we multiply our y by -1. So here, our -2 stays the same, and we take our 1 here and multiply it by -1. So A prime is now -2, -1. For B, we're located at 3, 1. So 3 stays the same, and we take our 1 and multiply that by -1. So B prime is 3, -1. For C, our 2 stays the same, and we're going to take our 5 here and multiply by -1. And so C prime would now be located at 2, -5. So A prime is now -2, -1. Notice what changed was our y. B prime is now -1. Y is what changed. And C prime, 2, -5, our 5 changed. So let's go ahead and graph those on our coordinate plane. So A prime is at -2, -1. B prime is at 3, -1. And C prime is at 2, -5. And when we connect, we'll see our mirror image reflected across x. All right, and there we see our new triangle. And if we were to highlight x here and fold on that line, you see that those two shapes would be exactly congruent and on top of each other. All right, our next reflection, if we were to reflect this triangle across the y-axis, this means that we would multiply our x by -1. So here we would do -4 times -1, and y stays the same. So A prime would be +4, 0. Here we would do -2 times -1, and 3 stays the same. So B prime would now be 2, 3. Here we would do -1 times -1, and then we just have negative 2. So C prime would be positive 1, negative 2. So let's go back. A prime would be at 4, 0. B prime would be at 2, 3. And C prime now would be at 1, negative 2. So let's go ahead and graph those. So A prime would now be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. B prime would be at 2, 3. And C prime would be at 1, negative 2. And when we connect our vertices here, there we see our reflection across the y-axis. So we get that mirror image on the other side of y. All right, I have one more here for us to do. And this one's kind of an interesting triangle because it's in actually 3 different quadrants. It's in 2, 3, and 4. So the directions say to reflect this one across the x-axis. So let's see what happens. Let's just follow the rule. So if we're reflecting across x, we're going to multiply y by negative 1. So negative 4 stays the same. Then I have negative 1 times negative 1. So A prime would be negative 4, positive 1. For B, I have negative 1, and then I'm going to take my 2 and multiply that by, whoops, sorry about that, by negative 1. So B prime is now negative 1, negative 2. And for C, 2 stays the same, and multiply 4 times negative 1. So C prime would now be 2, negative 4. All right. So let's go back and look at those new ordered pairs with a reflection across x. And let's graph them. So A prime is now negative 4, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, let me use my pink pen here. So A1 is here. B prime here is negative 1, negative 2, so negative 1, negative 2. B prime is here. And C is at 2, negative 4, so 1, 2, and then 2, negative 4, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be negative 2, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Oh, you know why? C was negative 4, so negative 4 times negative 1 means that was positive 4. Sorry about that. So 2, and then up here, so C prime would be here. And when we go ahead and connect our vertices here, we have a mirror image that looks like that. Pretty neat. All right, well, thanks for checking in. And so just as a review, just want to remind you that when we reflect across the x-axis, you multiply your y-coordinate by negative 1. And when you reflect across the y-axis, you multiply your x by negative 1. All right, have a great day.